Our goal was the same, and we were best friends. And we wrote easily together. I mean, writing is always difficult, but there was no effort. I mean, we were highly ambitious, and we were really directed. We knew what our destination was, and we were best friends. We'd grown up together. When I lecture at the film schools, to budding writers, neophyte writers, I always say to them, well, they say, what about collaborations? Is that easy? Is that hard? And the best definition I ever heard was from Oscar Hammerstein II, who wrote all those great shows with Richard Rodgers. Hammerstein said, a writing collaboration is exactly the same as a marriage except for the sex. And that sums it up. Say arguments. We used to have a lot of arguments up until we became very successful, which was very early, thank God. And then we did not argue. Our arguments were not productive. We would flip coins. I'd give in to Dick at one time, and the next time he would give in to me. We had, certain rules laid down. But arguments were a big waste of time. And we've been working together so long that it was just something, it was breathing, eating, it was just a natural process to us. We didn't have to work it, keep it going. Things kept coming at us, and we took advantage of these things. Or we were terrific self-generators. We didn't have something. That's why, if you do originals, a lot of writers don't come up with originals. They go on to, series and become part of the staff, and they're given the characters, they're given the concept. Dick and I always tried to do originals, and we were good at coming up with them, so it worked for us. We hung out with each other. Dick got married before I did, and then he became a family man. He had a daughter, etc. I mean, we weren't as socially as close then, but we had the same friends. We had a pool of the same friends, and then Dick had friends who I didn't know, and I had friends who Dick really didn't know. That was sort of, we orbited between, these two groups, each of us. But we were always, if we were working, almost every day we worked together. We didn't write every day. But once you become successful, you spend we would spend the morning writing. We could do 5 pages, that was just fine. 5 good pages. So it would take us a month to write a 2-hour movie. In the afternoons, then we had to deal with the agents, the casting people, the lawyers, that whole part of the business, which really comes in and impedes your life, your creative life, once you become successful. So the afternoons were given over to that. But even if we didn't see each other for one day when we weren't writing, we would always be calling each other, especially at 5 o'clock at the end of the day, and catch up what he had been into and what I was into. Dick and I were always pragmatic people. People would say to us, oh, you're so negative. Our philosophy was, always look for the worst. You come up with a project, you probably won't sell it, you probably won't get it on. If you get it on, it's not going to be successful because they'll put you in a bad slot. But that was our philosophy, and yet we turned out material, we came up with originals. There was part of us that didn't go by that, we tried to do the very best we could and worked like madmen, even though, so that was enclosed in an envelope of negativity. Now, psychiatrists would say, well, you really weren't negative because there's no way you would have gotten out of bed every morning, you two guys, and worked your asses off. And that's true. So there was always optimism in there. I mean, you always hoped. But we protected ourselves. We both had the same personalities in that regard. We protected ourselves by saying, the chances are dead against us, it's not going to happen. And then you were amazingly surprised when it does, and we enjoy it. But we were ecstatic when we had our first big hit. I mean, we were very pleased, but I'm one of those people, I don't live in the mountains and I don't live deep in the plains. I live in the middle of things. And I think, for me at least, that's a good way to live.